Hello everybody, my name is Landon Nguyen, and I would like to talk to you about one of my passions, cars. Today it is almost necessary for a person to have a car to have a normal daily life, and this is made evident by 88% of Americans owning a vehicle. But ever since I was young, I've had a passion for learning about cars, and today I continue to learn more and more about them. But today I would like to give you a brief overview of the history of cars, especially sports cars, as well as I'll tell you a little about the systems and functions that allow a car to operate today. And I'll give you some examples of those systems and functions in one of my favorite cars that are around today. But first, we'll start by looking at one of the first cars ever made. This is Carl Benz. He created his Benz patent motor car in 1885. This car came with a one-cylinder, four-stroke engine capable of moving the car at 10 miles per hour, making about 0.75 horsepower. We'll talk about horsepower a little bit later. But the patent Carl Benz received for this car is regarded as the birth certificate of the automobile. But ever since Benz created his car, many more cars have been created, with those creators placing an emphasis on how fast the car could go. The first sports car was really created around 1914, but it didn't really become famous and common until the 1950s and 1960s. And this is made evident by Ford Mustang, and they created the Mustang and released it in 1964, which started the birth of the pony car. And it was shortly followed by the Dodge Challengers and the Chevrolet Camaros, which are other American cars. But on top of American cars, you also have import cars, normally from like Japan. And these include your Nissan GTRs, your Honda Type Rs, and your Toyota Supras. On top of all these cars, you have like fastest production cars ever, which are your super and hyper cars. This includes your Ferraris, your Lamborghinis, your Bugattis, and your Koenigseggs. But today, the engineering has progressed so far that people are even starting to create self-driving cars. This is done by Tesla, which is the prominent one today. But the history of all these cars is long and deep, but each car would have to be talked about at a different time, since we don't have time today. But now that you know a little bit about the history of cars, I would like to tell you a little bit about how they work and operate today. And we'll start with the engine. The engine is the heart of the car and where all the power comes from. And the power is normally made from a combination of gasoline or diesel combined with air to create a series of combustions that will turn a crankshaft. And the amount of air, type of gasoline, and size of the engine will all dictate how much power a car makes. But power is normally measured in horsepower. And so the more horsepower a car makes would generally allow it to go a lot faster. And today, cars have even made upwards of 1,000, upwards like 5,000 horsepower, which allow cars to exceed speeds of 200 miles per hour from just like production lines. But all that power has to get to the wheels somehow, and is normally through a transmission. And the transmission is just a series of gears that will turn when the crankshaft turns, and all the gears are different sizes because a smaller gear will allow a car to accelerate much faster, but a bigger gear will allow it to go much faster at the top end speeds. But these transmissions are also come in different configurations, like your automatic transmissions and your manual transmissions. And they also come with different numbers of gears. Like it can range from 5 gears to all the way up to 10 gears. But on top of these things, there are also other things that affect the performance of a car. This includes the car's aerodynamics, the car's suspensions, and the type of tires on the car. But there's also aftermarket products that will allow cars to drive much faster. This normally comes in the things of like forced induction through superchargers and turbochargers. But you can also tune a car's computer to allow the car to make much more power. And next, I'll tell you about some of these systems in one of my favorite cars today that my brother drives, the Ford Mustang GT. The 2018 Ford Mustang has a 5.0 liter V8, putting out about 460 horsepower stop. However, this car can be modified to make much more power by putting superchargers or turbochargers in the car to make over 1,000 horsepower. And it's something we're looking to do soon, hopefully. But this car has also made it to a 10-speed transmission, which is one of the fastest and best on the market right now. This car was even named the best-selling sports coupe in the world by the Auto Business News. But the history of cars is long and deep, but I still wish to learn more and more about them. And although the lineage of these cars dates back all the way to like the 1800s, engineering and the things these cars can do today is nothing short of extraordinary. So next time you're riding around in a car, just take some time to think about all the engineering and work put into that marvelous piece of this seemingly like normal object that's around today. And so thank you very much for listening. Hope you have a good day. Thank you.